Kenny Harris, and I'll be here with Robbie Nishida.
How you guys doing? Welcome back. Excited.
I know.
I'm super excited.
Tandeming is always fun and brings excitement, so definitely going to be a good day. We saw a lot of good practice runs today this morning, so we're expecting a lot of good footage today for you all out there watching live.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to like it because, number one, everybody has to stay home, and it's been kind of boring this year, so hopefully we could bring some excitement to your lives. Thank you for tuning in today, and I mean, the level of driving is just
stepped up.
Getting crazy.
Huge stepped up.
Qualify is cool. You know, you get to watch the cars do their own thing by themselves on the track, show off their skills, but tandem is where you want to be to watch. So let's go ahead and go over the top 10 qualifiers from yesterday.
So let's see.
All right, so this is qualifying number 10. This is Kazuki Hayashi. He was throwing some crazy runs from practice yesterday.
So was
this guy, yeah, Junya Ishikawa. He's driving the Droopy, Hiroshima Toyota, ZN 86, so the GT86.
And he's the one that scored the 86 on top of that.
Yeah. Matching. And this guy's always a threat everywhere. He's driving the JZ80, Car Guy Racing, Yoshimura, Tamagawa. I think this is the first time he's competing throughout the whole year.
Here you go. We got Katsuhiro Ueo, always throwing some crazy angle and some smoke. So that's
Burnout King.
I know.
We saw him do a fat burnout on the straightaway.
All the way crazy. Through to outer zone 1. But here you go.
This guy, I think he said he was talking about he kind of screwed that up, but it kind of fell in place because he went offline over there after outside zone 1, but it was very exciting qualifying run.
Next we have Kenji Yamada.
Jamaken, yeah,
Jamaken.
I don't know if he's the highest ranking SR for the qualify, but I think he's using nitrous this round, from this round or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got Shinji Minowa right here, number 90, and his new car is JZX 100.
Yeah, his runs are very, how can I say it, subtle, and the excitement level isn't too high, but it's like perfected.
Yes. He throttles a lot.
Yeah. And this is the Eurofighter driven by Kazumi Takahashi TMS Racing Team. This car is amazing. He drives it like...
with the mean V6 under the hood.
Yeah, and then he drives it like he's been driving this thing for years. But he actually debuted this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's been doing a good job this year.
Another car that just got debuted this year is...
number 100, Andrew Gray. Very unique car right here, just like the last one, you know, Lexus RC.
Yeah, winner of last round at Okuibuki too, so very exciting. He upped his driving from first to second run. It was really exciting.
During the practice runs, just an amazing job. And then right here,
run up from last year, yeah. Champ, Koichi Yamashita with Team Weld. He had a 95 yesterday and qualified first. Yeah,
our top run right here. And he's still pushing through during practice. He definitely showed us what he's got, especially getting ready for tandem. So, yeah. But it's like we were talking about before. A lot of these drivers, they just come out, you know, it kind of, you know, get that feel of, they're just getting the feel of the track during qualifying. But then when it comes to day 2 for tandeming, it's like they literally step their levels up to the guys that were the top 10. And it's pretty awesome to see this.
Yeah, so this is the view from the top of the track. As you see to the left of the screen, that's where the straightaway the start is, and you see the yellow cones on the top left where it's a 3-2-1 cone. You have to be initiated by the last cone. Oh, here we go. So after you pass the 1-2-3 or 3-2-1 cone, there's a first outside zone. This is scored large for the qualify, but you know the scores it's not going to matter for tandem. We're going to have to see how the lead car does. Closest 100-point run to their qualifier run. When they're leading and when they chase, they have to give chase. They have to mimic the lead driver as much as possible. Get as close as possible to them, be on the similar line, and have the similar angle with the lead car. We're going to watch the lead car versus lead car run and the chase car versus chase car run, and all 3 of the judges will determine who the winner is, or it's going to be a one more time.
So that's a huge factor right there. So you could have an amazing lead run, or a lead run, but then you could turn around and just botch your chase run. So it could definitely, like you said, you guys compare both runs side by side.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of times that you could be chasing first. A good lead run is very easier to chase. So that gives the chase car a better chance to get on their door or do the similar line or the angle. But you can do a great chase run, but you can actually turn around and do a horrible lead run, and you may have to go home that weekend because of your lead run, because you did a poor job on the lead run. And a lot of the times, people try to do lead runs, they try to run away from the driver. And this isn't about drag racing, or this isn't about road racing or anything. This is about drifting. So we want to keep the cars as sideways as possible, on throttle as long as possible, and do a clean lead run. And if the car behind you gets close to you, it's okay. All you have to do is get on their door when you're chasing them, when the lead, or when you swap out and you're driving behind them.
Exactly. So number one focus as the lead is just to throw down the most solid 100-point run that you can, and then the chase following right after. But the chase is going to be more focusing on that rear quarter panel that they want to be as close as they can possible, but holding the same exact angle as the lead driver.
Yeah, so a lot of people concentrate on the speed. Yes, it looks great if it's speedy, but we do not count that under, or we don't count that for our qualifier or the tandem. It doesn't matter how fast you're going. You have to be stylish. You have to be able to flick the car really hard. You're going to have to be able to hold a lot of angle. You're going to have to run the outside zones and a really tight in clip for all the zones and clips. And that's how you win, not to run away from the car. We
Exactly.
You know, people grip their cars up so much, and I see this with like amateur level and grassroots level too. They grip their cars up so much to the point that I don't even know, they're barely drifting, but they're running away from people.
I think they're focusing on the speed more than everything else.
Exactly. What we want to see is we want to see door-to-door action all the time, even if you're in front or behind, you know. So if you're behind, and you know, when you're out at the track days, when you're with your buddies, you want to drive close and do some, you know, cool tandem. But when it's all about, you know, I want to run away from the guy that's chasing me, then it's like, what's the point of
takes away from
for the tandem? You know?
So what is it? Let's go back to the track. So the challenges that you think we'll see. So I mean, we saw a lot of qualifying, practicing, and stuff like that.
You know what? We have actually the other judge, because there's three of us. There's Yoichi Imamura, me, Robin Ishida. Then we also have Ryan Lantain. He is tuning in from Canada. He's one of the remote judges.
There he is.
There he is. You're on. You're on screen, Ryan.
I think he can hear us.
I'm glad you have your clothes on. I hope you're comfortable.
Especially with the time difference. So.
And you know, to you guys, we really, really miss you guys. I haven't seen these guys in like months, almost a year, you know, and all the FDUS guys too. Ryan Sage is usually here, and also Kevin Wells, the tech guy, he's usually here. Then because of the COVID, they're all not here, so we're gonna have to do this from, you know, the opposite side of the world. But we're going to still make it happen.
Making it happen.
And guys, thank you for tuning in.
We really do appreciate it. And it is nice to, you know, fill some shoes for right now.
Yeah, because Kenny, if Sage wasn't here, you wouldn't be here.
I'd be probably somewhere in the stands probably.
Fired!
But no, it definitely is an honor to be here and speak on behalf.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also we have Mr. Iwata over here. He's the founder of Formula Drift Japan. He is going to be supporting Ryan Lantain's judging. He's going to be on this side, relaying what he has to know, what he has to see. So you know, everything is becoming online. And just to let you know, I think we had some issues, not issues,
yes,
but I think
we had some feedback that, you know, it seemed like, I don't know
maybe
how
the
to say
stream
it.
wasn't strong enough and stuff like that, but I guess I talked to some of the guys that are in charge of that. We're way up in the mountains. You guys got to understand. We're surrounded by forests and mountains and stuff like that. So we're way up here. And at the same time, because of the hard times we're going through right now, a lot of people are online. And I guess because everybody's trying to get online at the same time, more than ever, everything is just becoming slower or something like that. I'm not a computer guy, and I don't know what's going on.
And if you tuned in last year, I know like you were saying, it was a lot clearer, but like you said, with everybody being home and with the networks being used, it kind of clouded some of it. So we're not 100%. We're not IT guys or tech guys. So just bear with us. They're doing their best to give you guys the best.
Like literally, they're doing everything they can to get everything up and clear and nice for you guys. It's not to your standards, I'm sorry. But bear with us, you know, the great driving is still there.
It is. The quality's still there in the driving, and you got our beautiful voice to listen to kind of pace you through what's going on.
If you don't want to hear us, you can hear the Japanese side.
Japanese side might be more exciting. They're more animated with their voice.
Burnout box right there, that's a champ. Yamashita. He was a
Warming up right now.
and I gotta tell you, if you haven't if you didn't keep up with the series last year, him and Andrew Gray, which was the champion last year, it all came down to the last battle of the last round, and it was a final. And whoever won that won the championship. And his car actually had a fuel leak problem, and he couldn't fix it within 5 minutes at the finals. Oh man, it was like everybody was getting really emotional because it was like everybody wanted to see the battle.
But that's what it is at this level. That's the kind of competitiveness that we want to see and we expect to see.
Yeah,
so.
and the camaraderie of it too, because I think Andrew Gray's team was trying to help them get their car to the line, and it was just beautiful. It was cool. Like a lot of drama behind the scenes, not just the cool driving and the banging and the blowing up and all that stuff. But here we go.
So we got our first two drivers lined up. So like he was saying, number 8, Koichi Yamashita is going to go and be lined up as a lead right there. And then we have number 53, Mitsunori Yoshimura right here coming through. And they're off, firing off. Starting us off with the top 32 right here. Nice entry into outer zone 1. Good angle on both ends, trying to hold him back. Yamashita spun out right there, but Yamashita still continuing pushing that lead run that you're supposed to be given, that nice 100 lead run. So that's one of the areas we were talking about that's probably going to be a huge focal point on how everything's going to play out in tandem.
Yeah, we've seen problems before where there's contact and stuff like that. But man, I have to tell you, Yoshimura did a hell of a run right behind him until then. And I know his car's an SR and he probably has less power and this and that, but that's not an excuse for anybody.
It isn't.
But at the same time, being able to follow a great run actually takes you to the next level.
Especially with this new entry that we have coming into outer zone 1, with it being deeper and everything and getting that high speed, but keeping that proximity. So that was a very nice follow or chase by him at the initial part, but like we were saying, that inside clip 1 is definitely going to be an issue for a lot of individuals.
Yeah, so I was getting a little excited because I wanted it, man, if he didn't mess up after in clip 1, I wanted to see how far he would have went and, how much space or how close he could have got. But
especially power difference and everything, so who knows, but...
Yeah, but that's the beauty of these tandem runs because you never know what's going to happen. Now Yoshimura is going to be leading Yamashita, and Yamashita has to keep his cool and stay within proximity.
And keep the same angle is Yoshimura. But let's see what he's doing right here. Let's see. Firing off. Coming in. Starting off at the 2-cone. Nice angle. Yamashita trailing a little bit, trying to keep the same angle as him. Throttling through to outer zone 2 to the outer zone 3. Keeping that safe distance, but same angle is Yoshimura, but seems like Yoshimura slowed up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he probably gripped it seems like he gripped his car up a lot so he can keep up with Yamashita because of the power difference and whatnot. But he was struggling going from outside zone 1. He didn't really feel outside zone 1, and Yamashita probably thought he was going to go wider, so he went wide. Then he just changed his line real quick so he could stay behind Yoshimura and mimic what he was doing. So he did a great job chasing. Yoshimura obviously didn't do a great job leading because he had to cut in a lot going from outside zone 1 to input 1. So we're going to have to dock him for that.
Yeah, that was a pretty big correction right there, especially with Yamashita having a pretty solid lead run. So like you said, comparing both halves of them. So
yeah, so when you have a lead run like that, a lot of cars try to hold back, but we can give them an inactive chase. If they give them too much space, if they think they have a big advantage when they're leading, and when it swaps around, if they give them too much space.
Let's see, Yoichi going with Yamashita, Ryan going with Yamashita, and Robbie. So it's a full sweep to Yamashita over there. Good job. So Yamashita for the win on that.
All right, now we have car number 99, Kazuya Matsukawa. He's driving the droopy Hiroshima Toyopet Toyota AE85.
And then we have number 283, Tsubasa Takazawa in the JZX 100. He got an 82 during qualifying, qualified 17.
So
and we were saying this is what, 1J you said?
I think it's a borrowed car and a 1J. So I think
that's definitely going to be a solid lead run right here. Matsukawa coming through, fully sending it in. Just running away completely, but keeping that solid angle coming to outer zone 2 to outer zone 3, but continuously just pulling away. Threw down a run, but it just seems like he just, I mean, that was hard for him to keep up there.
Yeah, that was
Takizawa was just struggling, it seemed. But right off the start, it just seemed like he didn't just go full send.
Yeah, so Matsukawa did a good job on his line. He opened, he left a little space at in clip 1. And Takizawa looked like, he's good at running a good line, but I mean, the proximity is not there at all.
It isn't.
He's like 3-4 car lengths behind. So, yes, we're not going to be looking at, how fast the car is and how slow the car is and whatnot. But, if there's a, gap that big,
huge gap,
it's almost like one single run versus one single run.
But then again, it's going to come on to the chase for him also, and seeing how his proximity is and how he keeps it. And like we were saying, you got to go 100% all the way through, because all it takes is one bad correction or spin out, and it could be an incomplete, and then it could be totally ball changer or a game changer right there.
You definitely don't want an incomplete, but mistakes that happens here and there, we're going to have to actually weigh it out, because number one, the chase car right now had no room to make mistakes because he had nothing to chase because he was so far away. Number two, if you're closer, obviously it's a lot harder to keep your car stable to the way you want it actually while you're mimicking the leading car. So we're going to have to take that in factor, but let's see how close he can get or how close he's going to stay, let's say.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Let's see how close Matsukawa's going to stay with him. Which this is going to be definitely a throttle control here, because he definitely loves to be on the throttle, especially through the sweep, through the turns. All right, here they go, coming down the stretch. Matsukawa just zoning in, kind of corrected a little right there, but trying to stay right on his rear right fender. Rolling through the outers. Ooh, big correction by the lead with Takawa. Takizawa just kind of made a huge correction there. But with the correction, Matsukawa still was able to stay right on his rear fender.
Yeah, so driving a faster car and following, it seems like it would be easy, but it's very different because of the speed level and what you're used to going into the corner, having to be able to drift all the way across to the in-clip one, like you see right here. Matsukawa did a good job. He was a lot shallower, but at the same time, he was a lot more better proximity than when Takizawa was chasing him. And
exactly, and Takazawa with that whole, he had a few corrections there too. If he would have done his chase run as his lead run this time around, it probably would have been a solid run. A little bit nicer to see, but
yeah.
All right, Yoichi with Matsukawa, Ryan with Matsukawa, and Robbie with Matsukawa. Hands down over to Matsukawa.
Matsukawa takes the win. Well, when you look at especially for top 32, maybe there's a big gap in power and the car performance and stuff like that, but a lot of people have to adjust because you can basically set your car up to the way you want it, the grip level that you want and you're used to for qualify because you're by yourself. But now when you're talking about tandem, you got to chase down cars that could be faster or slower than you.
And if you already know because they're getting it ahead of time, if you already know you're a little bit going to be slower than them, that's when you could still prep and get your crew ready.
Yeah, so it looks like Takizawa probably had to grip his car up a little bit, and outside zone 2, he did a big correction.
You can see that
where
huge
he almost
correction.
straightened. So yeah, so this is all tactics, all driving skills, all car skills, team skills. Everything comes down to the tandem. That's why it's so exciting to watch.
Yeah. So next we have lined up right now is number 125, Yoshihiko Tamagawa. Scored an 87. He's good. He's with Car Guy Racing, and I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the car that he's driving. Very popular car, JZ80 Supra. And you were saying yesterday, he got that car for free?
Yeah, I was talking to him yesterday. He said one of the other drivers was like, "Oh, you can have it." But this was back in the days when
when they weren't worth much.
Yeah, and I remember I picked one up for like $1,300, long time, like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
You won't see that anymore.
Oh yeah. So, I know a lot of you car guys know that, you know, all the older guys think like, oh man, I wish I kept this, I wish I kept that. If we knew that, you know, the car world was going to become like this, I would have kept all my cars that I had.
Yep.
Yeah.
So lined up beside him is number 93, Monkey Ito in the 2J Chaser. Here they come, coming through the stretch with Tamagawa leading. Entering the outer zone 1, sweeping around the outer zone 2, having good proximity there, trying to keep it and hold it through. Tamagawa just trying to pull away a little. Doing a nice lead run for him, and right at the end, Tamagawa challenged him right at the end, which, you know, might play against him because Monkey Ito had to kind of adjust himself so he didn't create a collision, especially with that hard angle he did.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch the replay real closely, but right here, Tamagawa does an average job leading. Ito looks like he took a shallower line through here. He missed outside zone 2, missed outside zone 3, and right here.
Right here. Ooh. It's hard to tell for the judge on that one because here's an overview. This is definitely easier to see.
Thank you, technology.
Yeah, shallowed up right there and then lost a little speed and had to try to make up for it. I don't know.
Yeah, he looked like he did stall up right there because the line of smoke kind of stopped and he had to get back on gas right there.
Yeah. So we'll see what the judges have to say. Let's see. Getting their votes in. See what they can see. We're going to go and see if we can get another replay of the drone footage. Probably some of the best footage to see is these drone footages these days. Nice little overview. Sweeping around the outer zone. Proximity could have been a little closer. And there's where Ito kind of cuts it real close there. And then Tamagawa kind of pulls away there. But if you notice, like we were talking about yesterday during qualifying, the biggest thing is they have to finish through a drift all the way to the finish line. And the finish line is marked with these 2 green cones, so they have to finish their drift all the way through. And if you notice right there, Ito kind of had to pull out because of the hard angle that Tamagawa just threw right at the end. Still going through some deliberations. But also we got them back lined up, so Ito's going to go and be leading. Tamagawa's going to be following. Here they go. Ito with the lead, Tamagawa following. Nice entry, didn't even get to outer zone 2 or outer zone 1, sweeping around, hitting outer zone 2, trying to get all the way there. Tamagawa screaming right up against him, right next to him toward the finish line. Definitely bailed on outer zone 1 and had to make it up with the inside clip 1 too, but let's see what this replay shows. Ito throwing in, seemed like he just didn't get deep enough there. Tamagawa sweeping around, trying to ride right up against him and mimicking every flick that Ito's throwing back at him. It's definitely challenging. Just like round 2, it's definitely not easy for these judges to make these calls. But a pretty good tandem run right there, with Ito with the lead and Tamagawa following. So you got the drivers swinging back around. Let's see. Yeah, here's the view of the pits today, like it was yesterday. A little overcast skies going. Nice and cool out. Got a little breeze going today, so it's clearing the track real nice for these judges. But here's another look at the replay. And when it comes to these judges, they literally have to dissect these runs and find out where the different flaws are to make these scores, especially when they're doing a chase versus chase and a lead versus lead. Here's one with Ito leading. Tamagawa going with the chase. Once again, he wasn't deep in outer zone 1, which he wanted to compensate, and then outer zone 2 he kind of was shallow, leaving it real early. So his line was definitely not ideal. He didn't throw that 100-point line, but Tamagawa's huge correction at the end is going to be another question and a factor. So let's see. I know you have a tough job over there, Robbie, so good luck.
Yeah, so this one was it was a little confusing and having to...
Ooh, one more time, and a one more time. So we got a one more time between Tamagawa and Ito. Obviously, you noticed they both had their fair share of mistakes, but...
Yeah, so what happened was leading up to the last turn for the lead car where Tamagawa was leading, he pretty much stalled the car when he was coming out of in-clip 2. And we were thinking that was, or the spin that Ito, or the mess up that Ito had was caused by that. So number one, it was very close to the point where it was almost a wash where they both kind of were at fault. And number two, Ito didn't do a good job when he was leading.
Yeah.
When he was leading.
His line just wasn't there.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So putting everything into the bowl and looking at it carefully, we just came up where one more time is probably going to be appropriate for this one.
But next up at the line right now is we have number 33, Junya Ishikawa in the 8.6, 1GR86. And then we also have Yukiko Ishiguro in the S15, the real style S15. Which she's been improving more and more track time, and she's just getting better and better on this track. So I'm expecting really good things.
Yeah, we've seen her drive before. I think it was last year at Okuibiki or something. But yeah, she did an amazing job at that track. So
definitely
like said,
throwing down. So Ishikawa coming in, leading the run. Ishikawa still doing that, having the same issue he had yesterday with the throttle control and everything, rolling into outer zone 2 and outer zone 3, and just pulling away from Ishiguro. But Ishiguro just, trying to keep up as much as she can, but man, Ishikawa was literally on the throttle hard that last stretch. But for some reason, just like yesterday, he had the issue coming into this outer zone 1, rolling to inside clip 1.
Yeah, that area, I would say, is not a nice sight. Well, number one, he tried to stretch it out because he didn't reach all the way out to the outside zone 1, and he tried to make it work. And that's probably all the adjustment that we just saw happening from outside zone 1 to in clip 1. Because he didn't have a clean run he didn't have a clean run up going to outside zone 1, which created him having to adjust the car.
And it gave that image, the fluidity just wasn't 100% there.
Yeah, it was very choppy and it was not clean.
Yeah.
And yes, Ishiguro did fall behind, but she was just she
kept the line. She kept her line.
She just kept going behind. So
she needs to do that same thing here, being the lead this time, and throw that nice run not nice run, but the nice sweeps into the outer zones like she was doing.
And Ishikawa, as a chase car now, he's going to have to make sure that he keeps her in sight all the time, and he has to mimic every move she makes.
So let's see. So like we were saying, we got Ishiguro in the lead and Ishikawa in the chase. That's another thing. It almost seems like he's forcing the car to work rather than the car working for him. So here they go. They're getting the good to go. Ishiguro on the lead with Ishikawa following. Ishiguro coming in a little slower than she did before, but making it last all the way through, going through. Ishikawa not letting that phase him and just pushing through right up against her. Oh, she had a huge correction right there in outer zone 2, coming to outer zone 3, and then sweeping real deep to inside clip 2. So like we were talking during qualifying, and I know some of you guys are just tuning in, but this track, if you really do mess up one section, it messes your line up. and there's a lot of correction that's required in order to get the rest of the zones perfectly. So here's the replay right here. Had a nice entry into outer zone 1 with inside clip 2, but then right here, boom, had a huge correction, had to re-flick or re-engage herself into outer zone 2 to get the right angle for outer zone 3, and then notice she was too late in outer zone 3, causing her to go real wide into inside clip 2.
Yeah, so great job by both of the drivers. Number one, Ishiguro, obviously she made a big mistake outside zone 2, but she kept her own. She kept driving the right line, but she also did miss in clip 2 by a lot, which caused Ishikawa to catch up, and he had to, really wait. And Ishikawa did go a little wide on outside zone 1, where he almost pretty much dipped 1 or 2 tires. But at the same time, he went right back to where he had to go to. He was chasing her and mimicking her line. That was pretty nice. So let's see what the judges have to say. But obviously, the proximity that Ishikawa had
Yoichi
was
with
a lot
Ishikawa,
closer.
Ryan and Robbie with Ishikawa. So Ishikawa is going to go and push on to top 16.
But I would have to say that Ishiguro did a great job where
She really did, yeah.
it wasn't even like it was kind of close. It was kind of a close call, because if she didn't make the major mistakes that she made when she was leading, that could have ended up maybe her winning or even one more time. So
that's true.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, the huge domino effect, once you kind of make that correction, it does affect the other zones that you're going to be hitting. So up to the line right now is going to be number 90, Shinji Minowa with Heyman TM Labo. And he got a 90 yesterday, so he was our number 4 qualifier. Like you said, he threw a lot of nice, safe runs. He has the sound of excitement, and now we're just a matter of him getting used to this new car that he's driving, this 100, and throwing the same excitement he was throwing in his JZX90 last year.
Yeah, and he's also going against Yoshimi Mori, who is like a super veteran. I think his car number 63, because I think he's 63 years old.
Oh.
He may be the oldest professional drifter in the world. I don't know.
But in that 2J S15, I think this is going to be a good matchup right here.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to see.
So here we go. We got Minowa leading, Mori in the chase, coming in. Minowa throwing into outer zone 1, sweeping into in clip 1, and rolling straight through to outer zone 2, pulling away from Mori a little bit. Mori trying to keep his cool and trying to collect himself to get right back on his rear left door. But for some reason, Minowa just kept pushing through and throttling, and that's what we want to see, is just don't let go. Just keep going. But we want the commitment of Mori too.
This is pretty cool, because Mori was behind and he was throwing more angle when he was behind right here too. And there was a little bit of waver, but he kept a pretty good amount of proximity. But right after this outside zone 2, Minowa started pulling on him, and Mori had to he ran a wide line at in clip 2 as well.
He's real shallow into outer zone 3, which made him go pretty deep into inside clip 2.
So now it's a matter of what is Minowa going to do behind Mori. He's going to have to show dominance when he is chasing too, and Mori's going to have to just do a
solid
fine 90-point run. But the whole qualify factor comes in play here, because when you're leading, if you're a guy who knows how to qualify well, that means you know how to throw down a good lead run. Where Minowa he got a 90, and
he did.
I think Mori
got
he qualified. He qualified 29. So maybe his strong factor isn't the lead run, but we'll see, because by chasing a better car or a better lead run car, it actually trains the driver
where to initiate, where to get, where to enter this first outer zone. You're right, true, and that's going to come down to Minowa being able to handle the amount of angle that he's going to throw for this, like he was throwing initially.
Yeah, so I think Mori hit the in clip, and the front right side of his bumper is hanging, so I think they're going to take that up real quick.
Or use every man's favorite fix.
It's either going to be
a zip
tie or duct tape. It's probably going to be duct tape for this occasion. But his car's red, very pretty. I hope they bring a pretty red duct tape.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just
they're going to accommodate to what they have.
Exactly. So I think Mori he owns a garage in the Yokohama area, I believe.
Hence the name
cars.
Team Mori.
Yeah, exactly. So right here, That was pretty cool where he threw more angle than the lead car.
But it didn't mess
Yeah,
with him. He kept
exactly.
pushing through, and he still had a little bit of straightening, but he didn't. It wasn't a huge factor.
So right now, I'm just talking because this is what I thought by watching. Maybe by throwing that extra angle at outside zone 1, it didn't give him the extra stretch to be able to drive around in clip 1, 2. So isn't it weird how everything kind of adds up? There's like one small thing that you could do that could screw something else up, you know. So that might be the factor, but it was actually cool to see the chase car do that. But at the same time, the lead car did a great job. He did what he was supposed to do on the lead position. So
that's what I love about top 32, top 16 is you get to really see these drivers drive. Qualifying, it is what it is. You get, throwing down what they could throw down, but they don't have the challenge out there. So this gives them the challenge that they have to accept, run with, and make happen.
I think they're done with the taping, yeah? Yep.
I think
Looks
so.
like they are ready.
Looks like it might have been red tape or clear. All right, so here they go. The lights there goes the tree. Here they go, coming through. Mori in the lead, Minowa in the chase. Mori coming through, swinging all the way around to outside zone 1, swinging to inside clip 2 or 1. But Minowa not letting him go anywhere, staying right on his inside fender. Woo, that's what we want to see. But he also had to correct a little right there because he might have got too much on the inside of him right there. I think he overestimated outer zone 3 coming to inside clip 2 and really having to be like, oh, whoa, I'm too tight here. But his proximity is where we want it to be.
Yeah, so right here, it looks like Mori leaves outside zone 1 a little earlier, but he does clear in clip 1. Minowa's right there.
Could have been a little closer on that first area.
Yeah, he could have been a little closer on the first area, and then there was a slight hiccup there from the chase car,
causing Minowa to have to do a little bit of correcting himself.
Yeah, it kind of got ugly behind, where he couldn't keep a smooth run behind. But at the same time, he did attack the lead car from outside zone 2 to outside zone 3.
I do like looking at the replays though, because initially seeing it straight live when it's happening, you from our angle we can only see so much, but then when we see the replays, we really get to analyze and see what the proximity really was. Because at first it looked really good, but then looking at the replay, it's like, okay, he could have been closer. He had the right angle, but he could have been tighter with him. Got him lined up, so let's see what they got. So we got Shinji Minowa in the JZX 100 and Yoshimura in the S15. Took his bumper out that time around in outer zone 2.
Yeah, but overall, I think this is going to be a very close one because both cars had their goods and both cars had their bad. So
Yoichi with a one more time. See what
go.
Ryan's got for us. Ryan's got Minowa. Robbie's got a one more time. So it looks like we got a one more time.
Just as I said,
like you were saying.
I think Ryan might have took the mistake that Minowa did because he attacked. So it's one of those, you're taking a bigger risk to get something greater. At the same time, it's a higher risk of making a mistake. But at the same time, I think Minowa did a slightly better job on the lead run. But I think me and Yoichi Imamura probably thought that it was good enough to do another one more time, or to do another run for both of these cars.
They both had their corrections that they, it was just too much to just make a decisive decision on that.
Exactly, but it was a very, very close call too. So
next we got lined up is number 5, Tomoki Tanaka in the V-Style with Tenzuji GR. And then we also got, that's going to be our lead right there. And then we got our chase, number 770, Yusuke Kusaba, which I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with that vehicle.
What is that car anyways?
I think it's a Supra.
It is a Supra. So this is the all Toyota battle, both
right
cars with 2 JZs.
So we got Kusaba in the chase right here. Tanaka throwing down that nice lead run right there, but coming a little wide to outer zone 1, which probably caused Kusaba have to correct right there. Tanaka still pushing all the way through, but yeah, he had a nice outer zone 1, but I think he just played it too hard and just went too deep into inside clip 1, which caused Kusaba to really have to adjust and correct himself and not be prepared for what was going to happen after.
Yeah, I think if we dissected this run, a lot more like technically, we may be able to find the bigger issue of what's going on. But right here, I think overall, just easily watching it, it did look like Tanaka didn't have a fast pace going through inside clip 1 because he was kind of waiting for the car to find grip to be able to drive around in clip 1. But at the same time, Kusaba was cutting in a little too fast after outside zone 1. Actually, he pretty much missed outside zone 1 and dived into in clip 1, which caused him to, he had nowhere to go. And I don't know. It is a brand new car too, you know. So it's going to be very hard to be able to, you know, dig yourself out of a situation like that. Then a car that you've been driving for a long time too. So it's probably a numerous things happening at the same time, which caused him to spin out.
But even with that being said, you know, things can change right here. I mean, there's two sides to the story. You gotta chase once and you gotta lead once. So if you have a bad one, but then the other driver has a bad one also, it could create another one more time situation, or, you know, give you what you need.
Yeah.
The right amount of not points, but sway for the judges.
So right now, I was actually watching to make sure that Tanaka didn't have like an abrupt slowdown from outside zone 1 to outside zone. Inside clip 1. What we don't want to see is abrupt stop, abrupt braking, or slowing down. But it didn't seem like it did not look like a high energy run by him. He looked like he was waiting for a little bit, but there was not an extreme change in pace of the car traveling from outside zone 1 to in clip 1. So I don't think that would be an issue as a lead chase or a lead car. Let's see what's going to happen.
See what's going to happen, but it looks like Kusaba is taking a little bit of time coming up to the start line. So,
no, he's going. It looks like he's going into the pits.
Oh, he is. So not sure that's what caused his abrupt stop in inside clip 1. But we're just getting new news right now on Kusaba.
He is coming back. I don't know, but I know, I'm just guessing, but I've heard there was like steering issues or something. Maybe it's power steering or something like that, but maybe that's what caused him to
have that abrupt stop.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to just go for it or they're going to check it. We're going to see.
Team's going to take a quick look at it.
All right, so just got the word from his spotter. They are out. So I mean, I don't know what the issue of the car is, but
never want to see that. So number 770, Yusuke Kusaba is going to go ahead and retire on that, which is rough. Not sure what the issue was. Maybe we'll get word later on what the issue was, but definitely probably a huge part in what happened right there in inside clip 2, where he just came to an abrupt stop whenever he was trying to go through. So Tomoki Tanaka still going to throw down a run to make sure everything's good. Let's see.
So I just got information. I think it's some kind of issue they had suspension-wise or something.
Okay.
So, yeah. See, so there you go. You know, we were just talking about what we saw, but technically something was going on with the car, which made Kusaba drive like that too. So really, really unfortunate for him, but congratulations to Tanaka for moving on.
Going to throw down a run for us.
And he's putting down a pretty killer run right
here. He is.
Just to say, he looks like he's an unleashed free animal right now.
No, he's like, I'm going to the top 16.
He looks like he's a lot more energetic than his lead run he just made right now.
Definitely on that.
Yeah, I think
with that entry right there that he just had sweeping along the line, but
yeah, there might have been
but like you were saying, new vehicle, new problems. You know, they're still dialing this car completely in. I know we're right at the midway point for the season, but it takes more than just a few races. It takes, you know, time getting all the kinks out of it, especially with the 2J that they have in it. Let's see. So we got.
All right, so we do have one more time to go back to, and the first one we're going to be going back to is going to be Yoshishika Tamagawa and his JZA 80. Car Guy Racing versus car number 93, Monkey Ito.
With Team Hirano
Team
Tire.
Hirano Tire. Both Toyotas, both 2JZs.
Got Ito getting his tires warmed up.
Yeah, so I think Ito is he's the owner of Ito Auto Service. He is his shop, they specialize, I think. Well, they do drift cars, but I think they specialize especially in the JZX chassis.
Okay.
And that's why he's driving one, obviously. And Tamagawa from Car Guy Racing, this is the first year I think he's doing the full season. He would pop up here and there every other round or a few rounds here and there. He used to come to all the bigger tracks like Fuji and Okayama and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time he's doing full season.
It's good to see that car out there. I mean, definitely a car that most people don't want to throw out on a track, but to see it out here doing what it's doing, performing how it's performing, it's definitely nice to see.
Yeah, so we have Rad Dan in the U.S. Driving a JZ880. He has a blue JZ80, very iconic car.
Did a really good job too.
Yeah, and in the U.S., and I think that's the only Supra, and there's other Supras, the newer ones.
Yeah.
And here we have one A90 Supra, which was the Cusco one driven by Kusaba. Unfortunately, they're not back on track anymore, but we will see the A80 Supra back on track now.
And try to hold it down for him right here.
Going against Ito.
So you got Tamagawa in the lead with Ito in the chase. Tamagawa coming in with some speed. Coming into outer zone 1, sweeping all of it. Ooh, but washing out a little bit of outer zone 1, but trying to recover, making Ito have to recover also. Tamagawa pushing all the way through into inside clip 2. And definitely Tamagawa's mistake that he made coming out outer zone 1 is going to be a huge factor, but for Ito to go ahead and correct himself and stay right on his rear fender is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it looked like it got close because I thought there was going to have some kind of contact there in clip 1, but Tamagawa did overshoot outside zone 1 or after outside zone 1. Look, he couldn't put angle enough for the car to be able to turn back around to come or pull the car back around into in clip 1. So this is a big no-no for Tamagawa. Ito pretty
Very
much
impressive for Ito.
Ito kind of saved it by just staying there, kept the car sideways, no corrections, no contact.
Had faith that Tamagawa was going to keep it together and actually keep the run going, because definitely that has been a hot spot for spinning out too.
And contact previously,
yes.
Last year and the year before too.
So next we're going to have them swing back around, and they're going to go and line up for we're going to have Ito leading while Tamagawa is going to be on the chase. Like we were saying yesterday, you can't – this is probably the best 2 days of weather that you're going to get up here, because I looked at the forecast, and the next 3 days after is all rain. So
thank you, guys. It's everybody wanting to see the event. It's thank you to you guys. You guys made it happen.
Exactly.
You know, somebody's praying for us.
Megan to see some nice, exciting runs, because in the rain, there is excitement there, but it just you could see a total polar opposites of driving in the rain and driving in dry weather.
The speed difference is there. It's technical, and rain is interesting too. But all the smoke and everything too, when it's dry is amazing to see. But let's get back to this.
Here we go. We got Ito leading with Tamagawa on the chase. See what kind of run Ito's going to throw down for Tamagawa for chasing him down. Here goes Ito coming in hot to outer zone 1. Tamagawa sticking right up against his fender, trying to close that proximity, but Ito's just pulling away right there. Outer zone 2, but sweeping real wide on inside clip 2. If he would have been a little deeper in outer zone 3, he probably would have had a better angle coming into inside clip 2, but let's see the replay right here. Ito throwing into outer zone 1, trying to get as much as he can, but then braking a little bit much there.
Yeah, and then Tamagawa couldn't keep his car. He didn't take it all the way out to outside zone 2. He was cutting a much shallower line when he was behind Ito. Everything looked like it was going good to here, but after this, Tamagawa looks like he takes a shallower line to keep up, and maybe he didn't anticipate Ito being that fast, so he maybe had to try to play catch up in proximity, so he had to sacrifice the line part of it.
And then right at the end, though, but Tamagawa was able to collect himself and get that inside zone and hug the inside fender of Ito. So
Yeah,
we'll
so
have to see. I mean, they both had their
goods and bads, but
Yoichi going with Ito, Ryan going with Ito, and Robbie is going to go with Ito. So Ito taking on to go to top 16.
yeah, so I think we have to take the lead run that Tamagawa did in consideration, because he did overrun outside zone 1. His line was very wide. He took a very, he got washed out after outside zone 1, which created the run that he did. But Ito did a great job when he was leading. He did try, I mean, he wasn't as deep angle as how he should be, but he did the best he can with his car.
He did.
And also, I think Tamagawa did have much of a shallower line when he was chasing Ito to keep proximity.
So unfortunately, that's both Supras going to be bumped out. But this next one coming up right here, we have 888 Kenji Yamada and 555 Yukio Fausto. And Yukio's throwing some smoke, so we're going to see what he's going to do for the chase right here. Yamada coming in. Fausto right there, like I said, just throwing down. Trying to stay right on his rear fender. But then Yamada going pulling away a little bit right there. Swinging around. That was let's see this replay. That initial outer zone 1 was definitely like fender to door right here. Coming in right at the end of outer zone 2, but Fausto did take a shallow line there. Correcting himself, losing a little bit there, and then getting a little pulled away.
All right, so this is a smoke show done by Fausto.
And Jamakin.
Jamakin, that was a very average lead run. He did what he had to do in all the areas. But it looked like Fausto, there was a lot of excitement when he was chasing, but at the same time he was getting overexcited maybe. He missed in clip 2 when he dived in, and that was very good proximity for him going into in clip 1. But at the same time, like you said, he did miss outer
zone 1,
outer zone 1 by a lot too. So that's basically a shortcut where you can kind of gain onto the lead car and gain a little bit more proximity. But
yeah, he was feeling the proximity and he wanted the excitement in the run, which he definitely fulfilled that, but it definitely played a part in his line.
Yeah, you have to think about it. If you come in a different line into in clip 1, one of the cars is going to get left behind.
Yep.
Because of the lead car having a smoother arc going from outside zone 1 to.
Well, here we go. We're gonna have Fausto going to lead this time, and Yamada following. And Yamada better stay close because I expect a lot of smoke right here. So Fausto throwing in hard angle into outer zone 1. Still wasn't able to fully get where he wanted to be, but throwing that huge angle into outer zone 2, sweeping into outer zone 3. But Jamaken being right there with him and not getting phased by any of the smoke that he's throwing down.
That was a pretty impressive lead run by Fausto. He did throw a lot of angle, but he did miss outside zone 1 again right here. There you go. He threw a lot of angle going through in clip 1. Yamada looks like he's keeping a safe distance. Wish he was a little bit closer to him.
He seemed like he had a very here you go. Here's another view, but it seemed like it was a very conservative chase.
Yeah, but the throttle control, a lot of throttle by Fausto right here.
Commitment right there.
A lot of angle by Fausto right there.
And the proximity wasn't bad.
Oh, it's not bad at all, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be rough because Fausto's chase is going to be compared to Jamaken's chase, so that's going to play a huge factor on what he had to correct with taking the out of zone 1 real tight to keep his proximity. But like we were talking about yesterday during qualifying, it's always good to see him, Fausto, run because he just throws smoke and he comes out to just impress.
Yeah, and wanting to win an event is very, very important for the drivers and the teams. I really, really understand that. But also, coming out here and just showing off your skills and doing something really exciting too, that's another different type
Huge
of skill,
factor,
I guess.
yeah.
And it's a big factor, you know. And I think that's why all these guys started drifting. That's why I started drifting too, because I saw it and I just thought it was cool and I wanted to do it. So you got to do something, or you got to do
influence
whatever.
is there, exactly.
Yeah, you got to do something that you think is cool. And you got to do a cool run.
So let's see. Got the judges' votes here. Yoichi going with Yamada, Ryan with Yamada, and Robbie with Yamada. And, you know, like you were saying, you're cross-comparing each other's runs. So that's the factor in, you know, dissecting the exact details of what went wrong is going to play a huge factor in the final
But
call.
I think he is one to watch in the future, too, because he just started to do full season this year. But his angle and the smoke, the amount of smoke, very, very exciting driver. So he just has to, you know, clean up a little bit off the edges, you know.
I mean, I'm always excited to see him run because definitely he's always down to throw smoke, throw angle, and then show us what the potential his car has, and he likes to maximize it. But we're going back to our one more time with Shinji Minowa and Yoshimi Mori. So we got Minowa in the lead with Ito in the Mori in the chase. Minowa coming in, sweeping all of outer zone 2, just nicking the cone on outer zone 2. Ooh, and then you had Mori have a bail.
Yeah, it looked like Mori dived in a little too hard at outside zone 1.
But Minowa threw a solid lead right there.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean, solid lead run by Minowa. Let's go ahead and see the replay.
Right here, he just nicks the second cone of outer zone 1 right here.
Yeah, so he has enough amount of angle right here, enough amount.
Oh, and he just took it, way too hard.
Yeah, so what we are looking closely in that area, obviously, is any abrupt slowdown by the lead car. But from what I just seen on the replay, let's go ahead and see this drone footage as well.
Looked like I had some fluidity to it.
Yeah, it looked like it was pretty
clean.
It looked like, oh, then actually, it looked like...
straightened right about here.
It looked like maybe Mori nicked his door or his wheel or something. Because I saw a little movement from Minowa's car right when Mori's car got really close, so...
So next we're going to have, they're swinging around. We're going to go ahead and have Mori on the lead and Minowa on the chase. Minowa threw a solid lead run there. It's just unfortunate Mori had to kind of bail in inside clip 1. But we're going to see what Mori's going to throw down, so then we can see if he's going to challenge Minowa on this. Taking a look at his car real quick.
Yeah, but you know what? The challenges that you do, and yes, you know, you're at a competition, and it's really important to be able to, you know, make it through and go higher up in the ladder. But having to make the risk here, especially at top 32, and getting that close, you know, it's a round of applause for Mori trying to get that close to Minowa's car to show dominance, you know. And this is all about, you know, or that's what Tandem is all about.
Exactly. And then the struggle like they were doing yesterday during qualifying, coming through with the 3-2-1 cone, being so deep away from outer zone 1, with that speed that they got to, you know, calculate that they got to keep with the lead driver is definitely a factor too. So, like you said, hands down for Mori. But we're going to see what Mori's going to throw down to make Minowa have to dissect and try to make happen.
I'm guessing he's probably going to go all out.
Yeah, here they go. Mori coming through with the lead, and Minowa tiling in. Mori throwing into outer zone 1, and Minowa falling a little behind. Could close his proximity a little bit, but Mori still pushing through to outer zone 2 to outer zone 3. A little bit late on the flick for outer zone 3, but still being able to hold his proximity for the inner clip 2. What's up?
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. The guys that come into competition and they start tandeming, like look at Mori's run. This is not a 78-point run
No,
that he
it isn't. It isn't.
at qualified. This is a lot higher than that. Not super close on outside zone 1, but the excitement right here, he's on gas.
All the way
very
through.
smooth. There you go. Very nice run by Mori in the lead.
But Minowa at the same time just
He's right there.
he didn't let him go anywhere.
Yep, Minowa was right there too, so he gave him a little bit of space over there going into in clip 1, but look at the difference.
And throttle right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of throttle, and looks like Mori was doing a lot more angle as well. But the big mistake that Mori made earlier is going to be very hard to
overcome.
turn around.
Yeah, especially with Minowa having a good chase on that one.
Yeah, he was within good proximity throughout. Slightly safe, but it was good enough to
so
win
there you
over.
go, all the way over from Minowa. All right, so those were our two one more times that we had. We're going to go ahead and push on to our next matchup, which is going to be number 14, Tomohiro Murayama in the S14, the SR-powered S14 at that. He'll be going against number 85, Daisuke Hara in the S15 2J, so SR and 2J.
Yeah, so we're going to see maybe the SR car might be slightly lighter, but I know that Murayama has been driving this S14 chassis for years, since I've known him. So he's been driving this car for a long time with the SR, and he never changed that style. So let's see how far he can go today with that car versus Daisuke Hara is driving. He's been in this chassis, and I think he's done a 2J swap within the past year or two as he competed in FD Japan for the past couple of years.
So Murayama, he's got that Buy Now Japan with Dunlop, while you have Hara in the Team MJ style with Action. So here they come. Murayama here in the lead with Hara right behind them. Oh, but Hara cutting really close, and Hara pushing all the way through, but that's gonna.
Okay, so for FD, you can do overtake and an in clip, and if you have a wide line, if the lead car makes a wide line, if the chase car could do a clean pass, it is possible at only in clips, not at out clips.
Yeah, and you can see where Murayama really was too inside there, and he had to make a huge correction. And Hara didn't let that phase him. He just kept pushing through, and he ran his 100 line that he already intended on. But let's see right here on this overview from the drone. Coming in, Murayama going real wide, but Hara still kept his line all the way around, hitting the outer zones. And Murayama having to really correct after that inside clip 1. So obviously, it's something you don't see every day, that happening, but this situation was probably a perfect situation where where the cars were lying and caused that switch. Let's see. Hara back at the line as the lead, and then we're going to have Murayama coming right behind him. Murayama's still coming up to the line right now. But yeah, you don't see that every day where that happens.
I haven't seen one in years. But yes, the only place, we don't even talk about it at the drivers' meeting so much anymore because it doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
But yes, this is an area where you can. Yes, it was a little after he passed outside zone 1, and yes, Hara did run a smaller line, but at the same time, Murayama did go way too deep after outside zone 1, which created a big gap at in clip 1.
So let's see if Hara can clean it up right here and hit all of outer zone 1 right here. Swinging around, still a little shallow in outer zone 1, but sweeping around to inside clip 1, keeping the same line he had before, and Murayama just trying to keep up with him, but that 2J is just pushing. He's maxing out that S14 as much as he can. So let's see this replay. You can see how Hara ran that same line after that outer zone 1. Could have been a little deeper in outer zone 1, and then he kept that same line coming to inside clip 1 and then finishing off. And then Murayama wasn't throwing as much angle, probably just a little bit less than him, just trying to keep up with him. But yeah, Hara doing that switch right there, definitely, like you said, something you don't see every day, but it was very clean. It had fluidity.
Yeah.
He didn't let the fact that the vehicle was very deep. He still held his 100 line. There you go.
Yeah.
Yoichi with Hara, Ryan with Hara, and Robbie with Hara. So right there, I mean, even though that happened, he just kept his line and he kept the fluidity. It's almost like it was supposed to happen if you look at both cars.
It was almost like a twin drift, and Murayama kind of gave him the open to kind of go and pass him. But yes, he did wash out really far, and Hara did not overlook that, and he said, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and make the pass. And yes, it was a legal pass, and it was a very clean one. Very
clean. But yes, that is our first half of our bracket. Stay tuned with us and check out these commercials. To get the results on those.
Yeah, so that was a couple of battles, and we did have two one more times. And now we're going to the other side of the bracket,
which we're going to have our number 2 qualifier, which is going to be number 100, Andrew Gray, in the Lexus RC 2J powered with against number 408, Shoya Saito. So he's got to show this young buck a little bit about what's expected. Andrew Gray coming through, not messing around, just fully coming to outer zone 1. But Saito trying to meet his level of expertise and push through also. Slight angle correction on his part for Saito, but Gray just not fazed by this track. It's like he's driven this track before.
Well, I think they were talking about who won at this track at Tandem. I think it was like Mad Mike, Andrew Gray, Mad Mike, Andrew Gray, or something like that. It was back and forth. So Andy did come in hot here, and Saito Shoya, he actually did a great job up until outside zone 2. There was a little wobbling action going on from him. He had to correct over there. But that was a number 2 qualifier and number 31 qualifier. So
yeah, and like I was saying, I said young buck for a reason because he is the youngest Formula Drift Japan driver at 18 years old. And that's pretty impressive to go against someone with that caliber, Andrew Gray. I mean, like you said, between him and Mad Mike taking the win out here, this is nothing new. This is a track that he really knows very well.
Yeah, so the only thing Saito could do now is lay down the best lead run he has possible, and Andrew Gray will have to get as close as possible and mimic his run. But I think Saito's car is probably like half of the horsepower of Andrew Gray's car, too.
Yeah. I mean, luckily it was performing pretty good on that run. I know he had a few issues during qualifying and everything.
Half the horsepower, half the age, because I think Andrew Gray's around 40.
That's true.
Ish, and Shoya Saito is 18, so.
But not half the cylinders.
Yeah, it's like 6 against 4, 1.5.
So we'll see.
Yep.
Saito on the lead with Gray on the chase. Saito coming through, throwing into outer zone 1, but Gray's right there against him, pushing through. Saito missed outer zone 1 a little bit and get a little bit deep on inside clip 1 to outer zone 2. Gray coming behind him, trying to close that proximity, but keeping a little bit of distance and smash through inside clip 2.
So another good example of guys that make qualifier runs, and after they make qualifier runs, they do tandem runs. And after chasing cars like this, like chasing Andrew Gray, actually got Saito to do a pretty great lead run that he just laid down. If he would have laid that down, that would have been a lot more than like a 70-something.
Oh, yeah.
For
his
qualifying,
78 that he got for qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, so hands down to Saito for putting up a good fight, but unfortunately it looks like Andrew Gray kept a good amount of proximity chasing Saito in the lead. And mimicking, he is trying to match him at the angle and also running the similar line behind him.
But you can see the commitment levels of just Andrew Gray just throttling through all the way through outer zones 2 and 3.
And you never know, with cars that don't qualify as high, I think drivers think of it as a big risk having to follow them close,
Here we go, all judges going over to Andrew Gray. Good job to Shoya Saito, though. Definitely threw down some good runs compared to his qualifying runs.
Yeah, he's got a lot to learn, but at the same time, you know, he
Take
is
it in stride.
Yeah, he is. He is in a good position to be one hell of a driver. He already is, but
Even
looking
better driver in
forward
the
to-
future. Yeah.
looking forward to seeing how much he's going to grow.
So next we have coming up is going to be number 9, Harutomo Tamanishi in the gold S15 with Team Diva. And then we have number 963, Daiichi Mizutani with Mizutani Jidosha with Zeknova.
This is going to be a close one. Tamanishi qualified 15th, and Mizutani qualified 18th. Very close. Very similar style cars. Well, the looks of it might be different, but I think what's under the hood might be similar.
There we go, Tamanishi. Mizutani falling far behind, but trying to collect some of this back to him right here, catching that proximity back into Tamanishi. Tamanishi pushing through, but Mizutani not letting him get anywhere. And Mizutani just staying door to door with Tamanishi. Initially, I got worried going to outer zone 1, but, you know, Mizutani definitely stepped it up and closed his proximity real quick.
Yeah, it looked like Tamanishi was, after outside zone 1, he started to shallow up through the rest of the track right here too. It's very shallow going out to outside zone 2, an angle, and right here as well outside zone 3. Looks like
he had to brake a lot there.
Yeah, and looks like Mizutani was able to catch him right after the outside zone 1 going into in-clip 1, and after that he held on to Tamanishi's line and angle. He did a great job in proximity. So let's see how he's going to do when he's leading.
But he definitely called it on that. They definitely had a good run with one another. Throwing down, I want to say they both threw down an 82 for qualifying.
Oh, so it must have been like their second best or something that put him into their positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hey, so us as judges giving out qualifying scores, we did a great job because very similar cars, the very similar scores, right?
And they're actually performing very well here at the Tandem.
Let me pat myself on the back. Yeah, so Tamanishi, he's got a gold car. It's got like these rose spray, like paint and stuff like that. It's very different
detailed.
It's very different style. But when you look at him too, he's got long blonde hair. I think he's like a rocker or something. He plays in a band or something like that. Yeah, so the personality really comes and shows in the car.
Threw me off because it was like Team Diva, and I was like, Team Diva. And then it's like, it's definitely a nice car and very Diva-ish car.
Yeah. And Mizutani had trouble, and I think they're working on the car all night to get it back out on track. So great job to their team.
Yes, good job. So here we go. We got Mizutani in the lead, Tamanishi in the chase. Mizutani sweeping, trying to get, but Tamanishi taking out the cone and taking all of outer zone 1 and losing the proximity to Mizutani, and Mizutani just continuously pushing through. And I don't know if you noticed the cone on the door, but it was like a repeat of yesterday's qualifying for him.
Exactly. That was extra points for him.
He literally did that yesterday.
I'm just joking. We're not looking at points. But right here, it looks like there's a little bit more excitement from Mizutani when he's leading. Looks like he's holding more angle. It looked like he washed out a little bit over here, missed a little bit of outside zone 2, but he did fill outside zone 3, went in good enough for inside clip 2. Tamanishi did an average job chasing him, but the proximity isn't there.
It wasn't there, and definitely Mizutani had that proximity for whenever he was doing his chase.
Yeah, and also Tamanishi looked like he had to shallow up a little bit to try to gain the proximity in between these cars. But now we're going to have to go and see
what the judges have to say. But that's the thing. Cross-comparing both of them is going to make it's a make it or break it for him. Here we go. But yeah, he literally same door. Might have been the same location of the cone. So let's see. Goichi says Mizutani, Ryan Mizutani, and Robbie with Mizutani. So Mizutani is going to go ahead and move on.
Yeah, I think it's a proximity difference. And also maybe Mizutani did a little bit better on his lead run as well compared to Tamanishi. But you got to give Tamanishi a round of applause. He took the pylon. He took the cone shotgun.
He's trying to take an early trophy. He's trying to take an early trophy there. A souvenir.
Yeah.
But Mizutani does have his work cut out. He's going to be going against Andrew Gray for the next round. So next on the line we have number 15, Katsuhiro Ueo in the S15. That's the VR38 powered with Valino tires.
Yeah, so earlier we were watching, well, yesterday too, watching him at practice is pretty fun because you're sitting at the start line and you see him. He just did a pretty fat burnout from the start line all the way to initiation.
I think he was just laying his line out so he knows where he has to be every single time.
Yeah, so the second lap he comes back around, he just look at the ground and be like, yo, that's the line. That's the line I want to be on, you know?
He is one individual, along with Fausto, that just come out here and they just throw it out on the line. There's no hesitations from them. They just come out here and they give it their all and they show the full potential of their vehicle. But we're going to have number 17, Jin Horino. He's going to be going against him. He's with Good Ride Team Tops Racing. So this is going to be an interesting run here. Looks like he's still warming his tires up. Hasn't made it up to the start line.
Yeah, so this is going to be a good battle because I know Jin Horino, which is going to be chasing down Ueo's car, isn't slow either. He's got a 2J in the S15, and he is coming from a podium finish in Okuibuki too, so there's probably confidence and everything behind the wheel versus Ueo Katsuhiro. He's the leading. He's the points leader right now, as of now, right? Coming into this round too. So this is going to be a pretty good battle.
At the same time, though, Horino was he threw consecutive runs. He had 279s yesterday, so he's pretty consecutive. It's just he needs to step it up to really step up to where Ueo's level is right now on this track. So we got Horino up at the line now, ready to go. I think these cars are going to be ready to go. Got the door shut. So VR38 versus 2J power. All right, Ueo in the lead. Horino coming in for the chase. Ueo throwing down, coming in, full angle. Outer zone 1, taking all of outer zone 1 for himself. Swinging around and then making Horino lost in the smoke right now. Horino just giving him way too much with proximity and getting lost in this.
Yeah, there's a small gap from the beginning, but it looked like Horino took a very shallower line at outside zone 1, and that actually didn't let him give as much angle maybe he wanted to be. So his front kind of washed out after in clip 1. Right over here.
And then Ueo just throttled through.
He just kind of went and did his own thing. So very beautiful lead run by Ueo. Textbook lead run by Ueo. And it looked like Horino had trouble keeping up. And there was no mimic behind Ueo.
I thought he was trying to be strategic with outer zone 1, trying to be shallow so he can catch some of that distance or his proximity back, but you notice the power difference right there. Ueo was committed and just throttled through outer zone 2 and 3 and finishing off while Horino was kind of struggling. He didn't fully throttle in because he was already outside of line for outer zones 2 and 3, so definitely going to be a factor. So we'll be flipping it here, so we're going to have Ueo on the chase while Horino's going to go ahead and be on the lead. But like you were saying, Horino is definitely not new to the podium or anything. You know, podium last week and throwing some good runs. But he definitely has to step outside of his 79 qualifying run and give a really good, solid 100 lead run.
Yeah, it's we see these problems among some of these drivers where their practice runs are great, but the pressure is on at qualify. And, you know, somehow if you can't land those perfect or near perfect runs during the qualifier runs, you're not going to be able to get higher on the ladder. And the guys that are higher on the ladder are going to be going against, or you're going to be going against, you know, Ueo is definitely not a guy that you want to go against at top 32.
We've seen them step up, though, whenever they come to tandem, just like we saw out of Saito. He stepped it up and threw a good, solid lead run. So maybe we're expecting to get this out of Horino also, but we'll see right here.
Yeah, so Horino did make a slight mistake when he was chasing and gave him a little bit too much space. So let's see how much Ueo
Here we
can
go.
get closer, and Horino, if he's going to lead down a great lead run.
So Horino throwing in, coming into outer zone 1. Ueo giving him a little bit of distance, but trying to close that proximity and throttle through. And Ueo right there on Horino, just pushing through, not allowing him to get any distance away from him. He could have closed the gap a little bit more on him, but, you know, overall, he did mimic his run very well.
He did. He was within good enough proximity. He didn't let him out of sight. At the same time, Horino was trying to do his best on running, doing a good lead run. But it looked like he was coming a little shallow on line and shallow on angle at parts. Like here, he left outside zone 2 early. He didn't fill outside zone 3, and he was a little shallow. So that made him dive in too close to inside clip 2. He knocked over the cone, but it looks like Ueo was mimicking him very well.
But fulfilling those zones that he was missing,
exactly.
for sure. Here's a better view right here. Swinging around, and then right here where it really counts. Ueo pushed it all the way out and then pushed it to outer zone 3 as much as he could.
Well, the chase car, how can I say it? The responsibility of the chase car isn't to run a qualifier run behind. They're supposed to mimic the lead car.
Yeah.
So even if Ueo made it all the way out or not.
But he mimicked his angle the whole time. That's what I was trying to say.
He actually had better angle.
So there you go. We have Ueo right there. So Ueo for the win on that, pushing on. Let's see. Next, we're going to have number 73, Kazuki Hayashi, and number 168, Masayo Minowa. So Hayashi with Team West Auto with Good Ride. And then we're going to have Minowa in the JZX 100, another one of our female drivers with Heyman TM Labo.
So Hayashi is back in a S15 this year. He was away driving a different car previously, and he looks like he is very, very comfortable because he came. He was a runner-up for the Okuibuki round, and he looks like he is very comfortable here. He was the 10th qualifier yesterday at Qualify versus Masayo Minowa. She's becoming a veteran in FD Japan as well because she's been in the series for quite a while now. One of the female drivers in a JZX, both cars, 2JZ.
Be an interesting,
very interesting.
Yep. But like you said, Hayashi finished second overall in Okuibuki, so that was pretty impressive. Good finish by him. But scored an 84 for his qualifying run, and then Minowa scored a 80. So pretty neck and neck on their qualifying runs, but I want to say she stepped it up on her second qualifying run and really threw down a good score.
Yeah, and like you said, the qualify only works for you when you're leading, but when you're chasing, it's a whole new story because we're talking about tandem. You have to be able to mimic the chase or the lead car, and there could be some kind of grip difference or speed difference or style difference too. So this is going to be very hard. And let's see what's going to happen.
So Minowa on the chase with Hayashi on the lead. Hayashi coming in, throwing in all the way into outer zone 1. Minowa trying to keep up with him, closing the proximity, but losing that proximity all the way from inside clip 1, and Hayashi just pushing through, finishing off his nice lead run, while Minowa had some kind of struggle at inside clip 1.
Yeah, so going from inside clip 1 out to outside zone 2, not very smooth for Minowa, and she kind of lost proximity from there. Well, there wasn't so much of proximity from the beginning, too, because it looked like Hayashi was coming in really, really hot. And he is basically doing what he has to do as a lead car. He fills his zones correctly, gets close enough to the in-clips. Good angle throughout, but looked like Minowa fell back behind.
From the start, from the jump, it was a little bit falling behind, and then afterwards at inside clip 1, completely losing power there and just not being able to have fluidity through into outer zone 2.
Yeah, and we have, this is very important. The straightaway and the start is really important because that kind of sets the pace for cars. Like, let's say if you give the lead car too much gap when you're chasing, it's going to be really hard because you just have to play catch up to keep,
and you got to change your line and your angle to
you have to get closer so you can get more proximity.
A lot of compensation putting up out there.
Yeah, versus, you don't want to be too close either because you never know what's going to happen with the lead car. So, I mean, just overall, tandem is very hard. It's very hard to do.
I think that's pretty fair share of saying all of this is pretty hard.
Yeah.
You can't just jump in and just throw these 100-point runs.
Yeah, and number one, guys taking your car to the track just to go for a track day event is already hard for a normal person.
That's true.
So, hands down to all you guys who go out there, and if you're not one of those guys, jump in a car and go drifting because it's fun. Now, meanwhile, let's watch these guys.
Here we go. We got Minowa in the lead, Hayashi on the chase. Minowa coming in, and then Hayashi right behind her, sliding right in. Hayashi taking all of outer zone 1, swinging in, trying to keep that proximity with Minowa. Minowa pushing through, trying to throw that 100-point run, but Hayashi's just right there, staying right on her rear fender and finishing off. That was nice proximity right there.
Yeah, that was a very textbook run by both drivers. The lead car did pretty much what she can to lead. Try to run the good amount of line and good amount of angle. Comes a little shallow on places here and there, but very clean and smooth versus Hayashi was right there. Not too close, not too far, but he was pretty much mimicking everything she did as a lead car.
And, cross-comparing them two, it's hands down, like you were saying, the proximity is a huge factor, but then also the run, the overall run with the huge difference. So we'll see what they have to say with the run there by Minowa and Hayashi. So we got Yoichi with a one more time, Ryan with Hayashi, and Robbie with Hayashi. So overall we have Hayashi. So what's that?
Yeah, so I think there was a mishap right now. Yoichi actually picked Hayashi too, so that wasn't a one more time. So it was all three judges going to Hayashi, but Hayashi's going to be moving on.
So he fat fingered it.
Yes.
Because these judges here, they're judging off of a digital screen, so pretty high tech over here.
Maybe his finger was oily, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Not enough static, but
yeah, there you go. But there we are. So Hayashi will be moving on in his S15.
Oh, they're gonna redo it for everybody.
Okay.
So.
Here they go. They got.
I bet you Minowa was probably like, I don't want to see this again.
There they go, right there. They cleaned his finger off for him.
Yep. So Kazuki Hayashi gets the win. Good fight by Masayo Minowa. Would like to see her do this again from qualify next round, but let's go ahead and go into a small break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Well, you can go somewhere, but don't leave for good.
Exactly.
Back,
go
please.
Get something to drink. Go use the bathroom.
Yes.
But we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Good day. Next coming up, we're going to go ahead and have our number 3 qualifier is going to be coming up. Kazumi Takahashi, number 36, and he'll be going against number 707, Hiraoka, which is in the RX-7 FD. Qualifying 30, so this is going to be a very, very big race for Hiraoka to step up and bring everything he's got to show Takahashi what kind of lead and chase run he's going to throw down. But yeah, for those of you that haven't been to Ebisu circuit or ever been out here, it's definitely probably one of the drift meccas of drifting, and everybody's ideal place to come out and have fun. Also known as like Ebisu Drift Park. They got 7 tracks out here and also a few skid pads all around the location. But what's crazy is they also have a zoo, a safari zoo in the middle of it all. So definitely an interesting place to come out, check out. If you're ever out in Japan and want to check out some sweet drifting or come out and possibly do some drifting, is definitely a good location to come out and enjoy the day. Whether you have a family or not, you can come bring the family and check out the zoo, or bring them out and check out the track. But between the 7 tracks, you definitely have your wide variations of different type of drifting you can come out here and do. Other than that, we also want you to be aware of next weekend, September 25th and 27th. We also have Formula Drift in the States. We have them with their doubleheader back-to-back competition for round 3 and 4. So definitely stay tuned into their live feed for next weekend.
32よりもっと見せる追走でしっかり勝ち上がっていきたいと思います。応援よろしくお願いします。
Okay, but I don't know what happened, so we don't hear anything from him. So
he seems excited.
That was, yeah.
Who's not excited to move on?
Yeah, he moved on. He's going to make it into top 16, or he made it into top 16. Qualified well yesterday. Weather is great. Who was not happy today?
Yeah, so definitely knew the whole technical thing with the interview and not able to hear it, but he definitely looked excited, and he definitely been throwing some good runs today and awesome excitement in his runs. So we're excited to see him in top 16 and see what he has to offer and see if he can hit podium today. But back to qualifying, our last 4 qualifying runs that we have coming up, like I was saying, is going to be number 36 in this sweet BMW.
Tandem,
what did I say? Oh, yeah. So there you go. Takahashi in the lead with Hiraoka in the follow. Takahashi pushing that 1GR to its limits. Throttling all the way through to inside clip 1 to outer zone 2. Losing Hiraoka completely.
Yeah, now this is another case too. I've never seen Hiraoka go that wide after outside zone 1, but I think it's the same as what we've been talking about today. The lead car went in really hot, and the chase car just had to do whatever he had to do.
Follow the line.
Basically, he's running a wider line than how he qualified. But he could not close the gap in between these cars. Good job driving through that smoke trail that Takahashi is leaving. But Hiraoka is actually a veteran that's been drifting. He's been in the drifting industry for a long time. A very, very high-skilled veteran driver versus Takahashi, which is, I think he's in his 20s. He's a young guy with a brand new build, brand new car, very unfamiliar car in Japan with the E92 BMW.
And he's been driving that thing like crazy the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Hiraoka wasn't able to make the first 2 rounds, was he?
Yeah, I think him and his team weren't able to make it to Sugo and Okuibuki. This is the first round they are joining FD Japan, and also I think Hiraoka, this is the first time he's joining Formula Drift Japan as a series too. So he's been in different series in the previous years of his career too. So this is going to be very interesting how he's going to adapt to how the FD style judging.
And I was saying earlier, he did qualify 30th with a 78, so he's going to have to step it up here and throw a solid run for Takahashi to go ahead and chase on. But we shall see what he's going to do for us and see what kind of excitement Takahashi's going to do with the chase and keep that proximity. Here they go. Hiraoka in the lead with Takahashi chasing. Takahashi giving him no room to breathe, pushing it all the way through to outer zone 1. coming into inside clip 1. Takahashi just trying to stay on his rear fender all the way through, but losing a little bit of proximity there. Hiraoka throwing a pretty good run for what he's throwing down. But overall, I must say, Hiraoka did step up.
He did, but it looks like he loses a lot of heat on the in clips. Like right here, he goes in very smooth, leaves outside zone 1, but right here he kind of waits a little bit to leave inside clip 1. Like you saw the smoke trail stopped and went back on. Same thing here, we're in clip 2.
I think
not much smoke, then kind of kicks on later, so very shallow angle. That's like the tougher style to chase down, but I think Takahashi did a good job keeping that proximity.
That's probably what happened right there on inside clip 1 when Takahashi kind of got gapped a little on it. It was because Hiraoka he took a while to get back on it and get into outer zone 2 and 3. But
overall, looks like Takahashi did a great lead run, a great chase run, and also Hiraoka did a great job trying to mimic what Takahashi was doing. But then the difference in proximity in the lead car and the chase car, and also I know the other judges always talk about this in FD too, but the lead car, the importance in the lead car, what the lead car is supposed to do is very big. Because that determines what the chase car can do.
Yoichi with Takahashi, Ryan Takahashi, and Robbie with Takahashi. So Takahashi moving on.
So that's Hiraoka's debut in FD Japan. But this is his first round, so adapting to everything is going to be very hard. So he is a veteran, so he's one to look out for in the next few rounds.
For sure. Takahashi doing really good this year. But let's go ahead and move on to number 38, Tadahito Fukada in the Mark II JZX 100, the Tanabe SSR Team Dunlop. And he'll be going against number 19, Yuichi Amagai.
This might be an interesting one to watch because I think Amagai is becoming like a wild driver. His qualifier run, also his practice runs, he looks like he was going nuts, throwing a lot of angle going into it, versus Fukada is very subtle. He usually makes very clean runs.
He's a veteran driver, so he knows how to adapt, but like you said, he's subtle. He gets the car where it needs to be, and
he's also the tallest driver in FD Japan. He always tells me, he's like, make sure you remind everybody that.
He is very tall. He's taller than Andrew Gray. Yeah.
And he's a Japanese guy. So that's a big Japanese guy versus the average-sized Japanese guy.
And he's driving that big car, too, so it's fitting for him.
Both cars, 2 JZs.
So here we go with Fukada on the lead. Amagai on the chase. Fukada coming in. Not a huge flick in outer zone 2, but rolling all the way through. Bailed a little bit out of it. Coming into inside clip 1. And then doing a huge correction right there. But Amagai's like, I'm going to take control and go ahead and finish off. So not sure what happened with Fukada. I don't know if it was vehicle issues, not finding the right gear, or just...
Yeah, maybe he couldn't get into gear or something. But man, that is...
I mean, Amagai just said, you know what, I'll go ahead and finish this up for us. But here you go right here. Outer zone 1, he was there, but then kind of washed out of it.
And right here, I don't know if it was like a gearing, he can get into gear or something, but hopefully he can
get it together. And
hopefully he can make his chase run too, though.
We'll see. I definitely like the color of Amagai's car. It's definitely different.
Yeah, that's a cool green. Like, you don't see many cars like that lately, so that's pretty refreshing to see.
It's got a solid, subtle.
Yeah, we had this
taste to it.
I love the not flat but almost flat colored cards. Very simple. You can tell, even new cars, like when you see like the Hiluxes and all those stuff, they have like the sand color, which is my favorite. It's like the light brown, but it's not glossy and no metallic. It's It's a cool color.
It's different, and that's the thing. Like his car is very subtle and different because everybody else has that popping color left,
Yeah,
right, and all this.
and everything. Yeah.
So he still has all the stickers and everything, but he has it subtle to be that solid color.
So they are communicating. Fukada is talking to the officials. And it looks like Fukada is going to be calling his competition timeout. You can use one competition timeout starting qualify for the whole weekend, but that's the only one you get. Even if you move on, the next time you have to do something to your car, you will not be able to touch your car during the competition. So not the whole competition, I mean the battle. So when you're at the battle, you have to be able to run. You're going to have to make sure that the car can do a lead run and a chase run without anything being done to the car. Nobody could touch the car or anything unless you call a competition timeout.
And the competition timeout starts when?
Oh, right when the car gets into the pits, and that's when the 5 minutes starts.
Okay.
And the competition timeout, you get 5 minutes. So as soon as the car goes in, the mechanic or whoever touches the car, and that's when the 5 minutes starts. So right now, usually people will relay to the mechanic, like, I think this is wrong, I think this is wrong. So in the pits, they're getting ready to do something to the car. I don't know what the issue is for this car, but we will see in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and... I think we're going to wait for the 5 minutes.
See what they're going to say. But yeah, I was talking about earlier about Ebisu Circuit, how it's a prime location. It's a mecca for drifting, especially in the Japan area. If you talk about drifting, everybody thinks about Ebisu Circuit because how many different tracks it has and everything.
Yeah.
I know you came to this place many a time, so you know it a lot better than I do. So
yeah, I've been here a few times. Very cool place to be. Oh, the 5 minute already had started. They are looking. Oh, I guess it's not a gearing problem. It probably must have been something. He must have lost power or something. And they are overlooking the car to make sure that they can.
It's definitely stressful being the mechanic coming in, being under the clock for this.
Yeah, because it's like, here you go, 5 minutes, fix it.
Good luck.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
You made it this far in the competition, and for this to happen definitely is rough.
And at times like this, some drivers say, what happened? I have no power. It's like how?
Are you out of gas?
Is the turbo? Is it not boosting, or if it's not doing this?
There you go. They're checking the turbo out right now. We're watching also very in suspense on what's happening. So right now they're looking at the turbo, seeing if it's good or not. But 5 minutes goes by really quick when you're on the time. So see what they can figure out and fix to get this car back on the track and ready to go.
Everybody is watching because I think everybody is. How can I say it? I know it's competition and everything, but I think everybody wants to make sure that all cars come out here and everybody has a fair chance to,
So they come together
do
to
the battle. Yeah, because you don't want to see people. It's not going to be fun. Like, let's say if you're 32 cars out here and you win the event because all 31 cars broken. That's not. That's
not a true
what you
competition.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you want to be able to. I mean, if
you want to earn that trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, if this was like a build-off. Or endurance race, I get it, but yeah, so I think Hamagai is patiently waiting by the start line. Here he is in his beautiful green car that was built for FD Japan, debuted this year. Doesn't look like he's been having great results at Sugo and Okuibuki, but
kind of fits his team name, Perfect Style. He's going for that perfect style.
You're being biased because you like that color.
No, I like
it too.
Yeah. Granted, there is a lot of S15s, in the series, but still, I like he distinctly differs himself from everybody else.
Yeah, I'm not going to say who or what car I like and stuff like that because I don't want the whole, you're being biased. And,
yeah, you do have a...
Let me explain.
My biased opinion doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and explain some of that because I hear a lot of it because who you know and who you hang out with and all this other stuff, but it's like we're here to do this. We're not here to make friends. So
Exactly.
pretty much we have to sit here and judge what we see, and that's, you know, exactly what we think. It doesn't even matter if you like the guy or dislike the guy, you know. It doesn't really matter. I mean,
And it's not only just you, it's a matter of hitting all points. So they can't say one individual created, you know, where they're at.
yeah, and also I'm the type of person, I don't like things to be wrong, you know, and I would rather quit if I have to lie or if I have to, you know, be biased and pick what I like. You know, it's not about what I like. I think it's about what's right. You know?
Exactly.
So
if they fit the criteria.
yeah, but we're not always right. You know, there's many opinions.
We all make mistakes. We're all human at the end of the day, but
we do it at a higher level. So, you know, like you gotta trust us. You know, the guys out there, you gotta trust us because we see these cars. I mean, I know the U.S. judges too. I've been doing FD Japan. This is probably the 5th year I'm going into being a judge. And you have the opportunity, once I can go make it over to the States, I'd be one of the judges in the U.S. too. But I know like Lantain, Eggert, those guys have been watching thousands and thousands of battles at FD, outside of FD, you know, judging all over the place. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, I would trust their instincts more than,
Exactly.
you know, yeah, just somebody who likes or dislikes, you know.
you're definitely right on that. I mean, it all comes down to experience, and they definitely have that
But that's
A1
that's
experience.
the beauty of the sport too, you know, because it's never right for anybody, and that's how the world and that's how life is, you know. It's never right for everybody. So
And then when it coming down to the last few seconds, and
the
it's
time.
looking like it's going to expire.
yeah, so the clock hit 0, and it looks like Fukada is out. I don't even know if they're able to figure out the problem or not, but it is unfortunate for the gentle giant of FD Japan is not going to be able to make his chase run. So Amagai is saddling up, getting ready at the start line for his bye run. Very unfortunate for Fukada. He is knocked out for top 32 because of technical issues. And congratulations to Yuichi Amagai. Perfect style. Car number 19, qualifying 19.
Number 19.
He's have to
qualifying
make his
19.
buy run to prove. We do these buy runs just to show that one car has to go home, but the other car is still at the line. We can't just let them go away. We have to make sure that they're capable of doing a run. So this is basically proving to us, saying that my car is good to run, even though the other car isn't. So that's what the buy runs are. And they're not judged either. As long as they're
Finish
able to
the
make
run,
a
yeah.
run, yeah. But it'll be cool to do
A fun run.
clean.
Oh, and here he comes. He's throwing down. Amagai pushing all the way through, hitting outer zone 1, swinging around to inside clip 1 to outer zone 2. This is where he needs to throttle through, throttling into outer zone 3 and throwing huge angle. Oh, and just trying to force it in. But that was pretty funny right there. Coming out of,
like I said, it's not judged, you know, but he did throw down pretty hard coming into the outside zone 1. It was pretty cool. Nice angle. He looked like he was trying to maximize his angle right now, and didn't work out so well in clip 2. Just imagine if that was going to be his run.
I know.
Just imagine if Fukada was chasing him. What kind of drama would have happened after that? I don't know.
no telling, but he's still tearing up the road.
Yeah, some of the bolts in his head went loose right now because he just went nuts.
You guys can obviously hear just ripping through the gears, making sure his car's ready for top 16 for sure.
Yeah, so I think he's getting a little overexcited back here. So, but let's move on to the next battle.
Next battle is going to be number 61. It's going to be Kunihiko Teramachi in the S15 2J powered against number 666 Shuichi Mano in the 1 via 2J. It's like Mano's still in the box getting his tires ready.
He is scrubbing his tires in right now, but yes, Mano is another young driver, and I think Teramachi is one of the younger drivers out here too. So
So Teramachi qualifying 6th while Mano's at 27. So Mano's going to have to step up his game a little bit and, you know, really come out here and maybe learn something from his chase to do for his lead run. But we'll see.
Yeah, so I think Teramachi is in a 2J S15, and I think Mano is in a JZ motor. I think it's a
2J, yeah.
I think it's 2J. 180. Or no, it's a
One
S13.
via?
Yeah, it's a 1 via.
So
180 front end,
that's a little
Sylvia rear end, 240 SX looking in the US versus the S15. Very popular car in the US too, even though it was never sold there. Teramachi is teammates with Hayashi. Team Good Ride with their similar car color versus Mano.
Mano with the Chatty Boy style.
Chatty Boy style. It's a team name, I believe. Privateer.
So let's see what's going to happen here with Mano following Teramachi on the chase. Mano coming in, Teramachi throwing in the outer zone 1. Oh! Huge interruption there.
Uh-oh, so Teramachi has a
You
broken
can
tie
see
rod, I believe.
on his right side. So that's not good right there.
Yeah, so what we saw right now is a similar line made by Teramachi. He washes out way long over here, and Mano decides to start to make a pass, looks like. But the difference between Mano and Mano's pass, or his attempt to make the pass, versus the earlier one we had with Murayama and Hara, I believe.
Hara, yeah. Hara's the one that made the pass on that one, the inside pass. So the big difference is the fluidity of it.
Yeah, then also it didn't look like Mano tightened up the line enough, because Mano was also a little away from the in clip.
Yeah, he was going real wide also.
He was also wide too. So I would say this may be, or this is something I'm gonna have to watch again. But definitely could be both at fault, because Teramachi did take a wider line, but at the same time, it's either you mimic, or in cases like that, if he had a tighter line, or if Mano had a tighter line and he made a cleaner pass, like how Hara did, it would be a different story. But let's go ahead and see. We're going to have to go ahead and
forking
overlook
them off
this.
right now, yeah. So the pit's getting ready to figure out what they got to do to fix the vehicle. As the track crew go ahead and fork the vehicle off the course. So judges really are going to be deliberating on who caused it, what caused it, and then who's at fault for this situation. Definitely that contact is probably what caused that front right to get damaged. We'll see. Vehicle's heading over to the pits now. So after this one, we have one more battle to finish our top 32 to get us in our top 16. Definitely been very eventful and back and forth with the top 32 with our one more times and our close calls, but we're going to see what happens here. See if the crew can get it all back together and figure out what the judges say on who was at fault for that, because that was some pretty extensive damage on the vehicle, but at the same time, the lines were pretty bad. But stay tuned with us, and we'll be back after these commercials right here. Thank you. Ebisu Circuit West Course in Fukushima Prefecture. If you're just tuning in, we're kind of finishing up on our top 32 with our last two head-to-head competitions, but we had an issue with our last one that just happened. Robbie, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so Teramachi was leading Mano, which is a chase driver. They went into outside zone 1. It looked like Teramachi washed out a lot, but he was trying to make his way in, and Mano was kind of following towards, or going into in clip 1. He was kind of following him, and there was contact right in front of inside clip 1. Now all the judges actually put the fault actually on the chase car, where it wasn't to the point where it was unchaseable, but at the same time he was trying to make it back, and Mano didn't. We had a pass earlier by 2 drivers, but Mano wasn't too close to in clip 1 either, so he was kind of like halfway trying to chase the lead car and halfway trying to make the pass. I didn't know what he was trying to do, but there was contact there, and we deemed the chase car at fault. So right now Teramachi has 10 minutes because he was the other side. He was on the other side where he got hit by Mano, and Mano actually just used his own 5 minute to make sure that his car is ready to go as soon as Teramachi's car is back. But Teramachi has 10 minutes right now to fix his car or get his car situated, because it looked like he had a broken tie rod or something on the front end.
Yeah.
Because they had to use a forklift to get his car off the track.
So very unfortunate, but hopefully his team can get it together. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and move on to number 13. Yasuhiro Takai with Yuto Komatsu in the IS 350. Pushing through, Yuto giving him a lot of room, but trying to push all the way through and catch back up. And Takai just pushing through into outer zone 2 to outer zone 3. And then finishing off inside clip 1 very well. And it looked like Komatsu just had a little bit of issues going on. I mean, coming in pretty deep in outer zone 1, and then struggling to stay proximity-wise close to him.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to mimic the line Takaki did, but he kind of swung the car out a little bit too much. Takaki made it a little tight after outside zone 1. Lost a little bit of angle there at outside zone 2 and fills outside zone 3. Komatsu is just not close with the lead car. Takaki gapped him a little bit throughout the whole track.
Yeah, he just couldn't make up for what he was losing. But his initial line right there, that played a huge role, and he couldn't keep that proximity throughout the course. But we'll see what Komatsu's going to throw down as the lead, and as Takaki does the chase.
So I would say that Takaki had an average lead run. I wouldn't say that would be like a top qualifier level, but an average lead run, and Komatsu did an average chase, but a little bit less with proximity.
So we got them coming back up to the line right now. We got Komatsu in the lead and Takaki in the chase. So we'll see Takaki in the 180 SX with Komatsu in the IS 350, 2J powered.
Yeah, we were right. The sun is coming out. And, sometimes the sun plays a big role because of the whole can't see so much windshield with the smoke and the blah, blah, blah. And then, the sun does become a factor, too. So I liked it how it was earlier because it's not so bright. I got to be all squinty with my eyes.
The overcast view was nice.
Yeah. So, Takaki, he looked like he's been putting down some fairly exciting runs, for qualifying and also throughout the whole weekend, And the brand new build for Komatsu with the IS 350.
Starting to get a grip on it, so let's see what he's got right here. Komatsu in the lead, Takaki in the chase. Komatsu initiating, coming into outer zone 2, well initiated into there, but coming really wide to inside clip 1, trying to hold it through, came off track, and Takaki pushing through as Komatsu really made a huge error right there on inside clip 1.
Okay, so it looks like Komatsu was washing out at in clip 1 right after outside zone 1. It looked like he took a smaller line after outside zone 1 right here. Doesn't fill it all the way to the end, and looks like he starts diving in, but looks like he couldn't kill the speed as much. And Takaki was right there. And this is a very weird situation right here. We're going to have to go ahead and look this playback.
See one more playback on that one, because it almost looked like he had a little bit of I wouldn't say contact. I don't know if it was contact or not, but there was a huge correction at inside clip 1 there. Just waiting on the replay to boot back up. But yeah, overall, going from outer zone 1 to inside clip 2, he washed out of outer zone 1 real early, which affected his line into inside clip 1. Common factor that was played yesterday. Here we go on the overview. Just examining that overview right there, and it was just kind of hard to see there, but especially with Komatsu's vehicle coming off the track, he might have had a course out on that. We'll see. Trying to get this figured out right now. Like we were talking about for the qualifying round, the biggest thing is how their line matches up, because it all has to have fluidity, and whenever you mess your line up from initial entry into outer zone 1, it does affect the rest of the course for you, and we've seen that through a lot of these cars that are washing out and or not hitting the zones completely. It usually comes from not being able to hit the zone prior to that. So once again, here's another replay. Coming into outer zone 1, kind of washed out a little bit out of outer zone 1 and then threw it really wide. And then getting thrown off track right there. So this is the second round that Yuta Komatsu is actually driving the IS350. He actually debuted it in round 2 in Okibuki, so definitely probably trying to learn the vehicle a little bit more and get the bugs worked out of it. But beautiful looking car, definitely different. Only IS350 we have in the Formula Drift Japan series, and it's nice to see a little bit of different cars running through this event. Let's see, we have them both lined up still. Seeing where they're going with.
If the black car would have came back on track and did whatever he wanted to, and got into a wreck, then I would have put it onto the cheap.
But yeah, let's see. A little overview of the start gate. But definitely, sun definitely came out, cleared up a little bit, but you can also still see clouds in the background. You can probably see us from the camera view. Coming up to the end of this deliberation, but yes, also we're still waiting for the last event and see if Teramachi's crew can go ahead and square his car away to get him ready for the next run for it. And it's looking good. I think Teramachi's crew got his car up and running, so I think he's driving it toward the box to get his tires ready. So it's good on his team for the hard work to get that car pushed back out there to compete. Never want to leave on a mechanical issue that your crew can't fix, but definitely good that his crew was able to get it together and square it away. But there's another one right there. Trying to figure out if there was contact right there in inside clip 1, because it almost caused him to push and go out of the track. But that's the big thing is you got to stay on track for this. So definitely dragged out on this top 32 with these last two, but that's what it comes down to when it comes to this head-to-head battles. You can expect the most randomest things to happen and to get between the races. where they still see us on camera.
Hey guys. Hey everywhere around the world.
Robbie was busy doing some
I was
deliberation.
doing some judging stuff.
Yeah, I know. So I was over here trying to hold it down.
So this is amazing because oh, here we go.
Oh, we got Yoichi with Takaki, Ryan, and Robbie both Takaki. So give us the breakdown on
just
that.
a breakdown on that. We had cases earlier where the lead car goes wider and then the chase car loses, or the car doesn't know what to do. But basically, you're supposed to mimic what the lead car is doing. Now, the Komatsu went off course a lot on outside zone 2. And maybe that could be from him being surprised that Takaki was so close to him on the right side and him avoiding a contact. But number one, the lead car is supposed to do what they're supposed to do. So the lead car always has the right of way, and the chase car is not supposed to hit the lead car. But in this case, I don't know if he tried to avoid him or not, but he did go wide in clip 1. I'm not sure if Takaki was thinking about trying to pass him or not, but he did try to stay behind him as much as possible. But Komatsu did go too wide out on outside zone 2, which was kind of an unchaseable lead run.
It was.
Takaki, he kind of left Takaki with no choice.
Like we were talking about, if you're just tuning in, like we were talking about earlier in the top 32s, we already knew that inside clip 1 was going to be a high area of issues that we were going to have throughout this tandem session. So, and it's been numerous guys so far, numerous tandems that we've had so far that had the issue of whether they were going to pass them or close contact or contact. Speaking of contact, though, Teramachi's crew actually got his car ready. He's coming out of the box right now, coming up to the line, and that's very impressive because Robbie probably knows firsthand how stressful it is to get a vehicle in and out in a matter of being under a time limit.
Yeah, I've been through every situation you could think of. Car not being ready, car running great, car braking, not making a 5 minute, making a 5 minute.
Yep.
Like I've done, not so successful, but I've done many.
You've been
in
in
many situations,
yep.
Exactly. If I could speak
So
for, it was probably very stressful, but he's back. Hope he got it all aligned right.
So let's see what Teramachi can do in the chase while Mano's going to go ahead and be the lead. So if you saw before, Teramachi got a little bit of contact from Mano. So right here, Teramachi's got to keep that proximity, but be safe at the same time. Looks like Teramachi's crew got his car squared away because he's keeping that proximity where he wants to be, keeping that angle. Oh, but Mano's losing a little bit of his angle coming at outside zone 1 or outside zone 2. And for some reason, Teramachi's car just seems like it's just performing better than it was earlier.
Well, he had a tighter line after outside zone 1, but I think that's because he was trying to mimic his lead car. Mano did a good job up until he reached outside zone 2, where he lost angle and drove straight for a little while. So even without that incomplete, this might be pretty critical for Mano. Number one, from the contact that he had when he was chasing Teramachi. Even though Teramachi made a really wide line and it was not a good line, but we did not think that as being an unchaseable lead. The best thing he could have done was tighten up his car in clip and just made the pass, or just stayed behind him in a safe area where we could have went and looked at lead car to lead car. But in this case, Mano looked like he straightened after outside zone 2, so this might be a little bit of an easier call for us here at the end of top 16.
Top 32. To get to top 16.
That's right, top 32 to get to top 16.
There you go, Yoichi with Teramachi, and then there you go, Ryan Teramachi, and then Robbie Teramachi. So there you go, there's our winner, Teramachi, right there.
Hey, so
good job on his crew. I'm going to give his crew so much credit, because that's being under the pressure to replace a part and then push the car back out is amazing.
Yeah, and good job to Ryan Lantain, because he's usually doing what I'm doing right now. He's judging and also commentating. So very, very hard to do.
You know the stressors of it now. But you're doing an amazing job, and I know everybody out there loves hearing your voice and getting the technical stuff that you like to give us. So
that's right. Let me pat myself on the back.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. You do a lot for this.
No. Let's not do that anymore. Let's talk about the event.
But don't let your head get too big, though. It's already big as is.
Technically, size-wise, it is very large. But thank you for watching our top 32. Now we have the top 16 contenders all lined up, ready to go. We're going to take a short break. In between, we're going to be back at what time?
We should be back in about an hour and a half. I think the view is supposed to be 13:30, I believe.
13:30. 1,330.
Don't quote me on that. Definitely stay tuned to our YouTube, Formula Drift Japan, and then check it out. It'll show you the time and give us a live feed. But we really do appreciate y'all sticking with us in this top 32 and seeing the crazy battles that we saw today. But
Yeah.
top 16 is just going to be that much better because
Exactly.
the competitors were narrowing down who's the best, and it's just going to get better and better every
Yep.
time.
It's
So
gonna
top
get
16
intense.
top 16 is definitely where you want to be and where you should be watching.
Yeah, we're going to have the intro too, so you're going to get a little insight. Well, you're going to actually be able to get a better view of the cars as well. Instead of it being in motion, it's going to be parked in front of us. We'll show you and display the cars and the top 16 drivers. It's going to be exciting. It's the end of top 32, but I'm just getting excited.
It was just our little taste of Tandem, so now we're going to get the true flavor of it here in top 16.
Yeah, and I would like to also congratulate all the drivers that made it and the drivers that didn't make it and the guys that didn't make it through qualify yesterday too. Better luck for next round because we will be back driving at Okayama. I think they already announced that we're not going to have any spectators there either, so it's going to be all on live
Unfortunately.
stream. So make sure that you tune in.
October